I think we're in the same time
Let's
zone.
do this.
Hello and welcome to another Woodshop podcast with Mike Coffey of Coffee Custom Builds, Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, and Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop. You can find us all as well as the podcast on Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome to episode 49 of another Woodshop podcast where we sing and dance our ways into your hearts.
Ballroom dance our way.
Ballroom dance and a cappella sing.
Thank you. I was like, Dan's looking into his armpit. All right. Hey, this week's episode,
That worked.
we have a sponsor that you're probably familiar with. You may have heard of them. It's Macbeath Hardwood.
Oh,
They're
I have
actually-
heard of them.
this week. They're actually sponsoring the show this week, which is crazy
We love Macbeth.
and very, very much appreciated.
The same Macbeth Hardwood that sponsors
the giveaway.
Every
the
week
same
for the
one.
past
Yes.
35 weeks.
Did you know we do a giveaway? Some people didn't. Okay, so this week I wanted to point you in the direction of Macbeth's website and also their Instagram, but also they are running a sale that if you spend $50 or more, you get $10 off. And that to me
Nice.
is 20%. Is that right? 25%. 20%. That's 20%.
20%.
Anything over $50.
Dan, you're the math guy.
Maths. Yeah, 20.
20.
Where's my
20.
chart now?
20.
No, it's 20% off. So anytime you spend $50 or more, you get $10 off. So mention this ad when you check out with them and you will get $10 off, $50 or more.
Very
So big
nice.
thank you to Macbeth as usual.
And
We
go
thank
sign
them
up for
every
their
week.
newsletter.
Yes,
Yeah.
Pete's going to put their newsletter in the show description down below. so
Spoiler,
check
it's
that out.
already there.
Oh, Pete's so good. He's so on it. Pete, is there anyone else you'd like to thank?
Yeah, the people that sign up to our newsletter are patrons. A
Very
huge shout
nice.
out to you
Very
guys.
nice.
And if you want to help support the show, check us out on patreon.com/another Woodshop podcast. And one thing that's not really Patreon related, but all of our patrons tend to join us every week. Check out the live. There's
Yeah.
always something awesome
We had
happening.
70 plus people in there this
Yeah,
week.
we did a spontaneous shirt giveaway because we hit one less than 70 people watching at the same time. Nice.
It was
I
wild.
guess. That was
Nice.
very nice. But yeah,
Very
we gave away a
nice.
shirt last week. Paul Jackman stopped by and just like
Yeah.
made it rain discount codes for his page. It's great. So you
True,
never know
true,
what
true,
might
true.
happen. So just check it out. And
It's
Mike, I
becoming
think
quite the event.
it's quite the event. It's
It's
a
the
once
who's
in a
who
lifetime
Of the
opportunity, as I
woodworking
said.
social media. Yeah.
Yeah, every week it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
What can I do to get you in this pre-show live today?
Today.
No,
Slaps top of pre-show.
slap tops of pre-show. So much real. No, you can fit so much podcast into this. Is that what? No? All right.
Speaking of
the-
fitting, we fit
the
two
meme.
new patrons in there, right?
We did.
We did.
James Thompson joined the family and Brian Colette. So thank you so much
Thank
to
you,
them
guys.
for joining. Thank you for becoming a part
Wouldn't
of
you
the
say
family.
they joined the Kielbasi posse?
They
are
did.
part of the Kobasi Posse?
Yes.
The what was the army? The Polish army. Commander Kapar.
Comrade.
Kapar. That's right,
Comrade
Comrade
Kapar.
Kapar. I should probably know all the things from our own show.
That's fine. There's
it's
shirts
fine.
in our Etsy store that have all these things on them. And if they don't,
Ah.
they will soon. Weird plug.
Are they in there, Dan? Did you already make a Comrade Kapar
I don't know
one?
about Comrade Kapar.
What about
Well,
Kielbasi Posse? That has to be in there.
Kibasi
yeah,
Posse's
that's
in
been
there.
for a while.
We've had
Kielbasi
several
posse
people-
is in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
I
You know
clearly
the-
need to
True.
make Comrade Kapar though.
Yeah, there's one in there
I'm
that's really
slipping.
good. It's Dan, what's the thing? It's that you say every week. There's a shirt of it.
What's on my bench?
Oh yeah, good one, Pete. That was a nice transition. Pete,
Transition.
you've retained your job.
Yay.
We do have to get rid of Keith, but Pete is in.
yeah, man.
So I mean, who wants to do what's on my bench first?
Dan made the sound, so go Dan.
Yep, Dan goes first. You know the
So
rules.
this week I've been working on the giant ridiculous Tetris bookcase.
The cutting board shelf.
the cutting board shelf. I've been doing like these insane glue ups like all freaking week. It's just like an 8-foot board that I'm gluing together. It's walnut, white oak, mahogany, and maple all week. And I glued up like 10 of those planks. 8-footers, 4-quarter. And just yesterday, I was able to start actually cutting them up. And my goal is to make a shelf or like a bookcase out of these planks, and it's all going to be like very seamless. It's a client bill, obviously. So that's all I do
here.
And it's going to be amazing, but it's going to be like, it's going to be tricky to pull off because there's no rhyme or reason to the shelves and the system that I have in place. Like, it's just a bunch of squares and boxes, and it's all very how do you say, asymmetrical?
Oh,
Is
It's very Tetrisy. It's very
Is it all
Tetrisy.
going to be joined together in the assembly, or is
nails.
it going to be boxes that you would assemble?
Oh,
and
it's going to be
then-
all joined together. It's not going to be
Okay.
separate boxes. I
Got
think
it.
that'll
drywall
look,
screws.
I think that'll look
Drywall
tacky.
screws.
I
The
think I had
black
somebody.
of drywall screws really pops against the wood.
I think somebody commented on like my IG post. Are you doing this with pocket screws? No, I'm
No.
not. It's all going to be either like
Glue.
it's all going to
Domino.
be dados, rabbets, or dominos. It's going to be tricky. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I enjoy the challenge. It's going to be super sweet when I'm done with it, I think. And
Are
I've
you-
also
you're gonna-
started.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Dan, go ahead. I was gonna say the joint. You're not gonna do dados. I mean, you're gonna do rabbits and dominoes.
It's going to be a combination
It's
of
gonna be one or
rabbits,
the other, right? I mean,
rabbits-
you're not gonna have.
rabbits, dominoes, or dados.
Hmm.
You know,
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. I'm pretty excited. I think my clients are pretty excited too. They follow me on the Facebooks, where I have upwards of a dozen followers.
Wow.
Dozens.
I know,
That
it's
many.
crazy. And on top of that, I've also started on a queen size cherry bed frame that I have for another client. It's gonna
Nice.
be it's gonna be very nice. It's gonna be like a pretty modern, minimalistic like design. I'm pretty excited about that. And
Sick.
then my client for like the basement remodel contacted me, and he said he was ready to start on his 2 Murphy doors. So like they're bookcase doors that open up. It's like a hidden door type of deal.
That's what I have
I'm
for
also-
my air conditioning unit.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
right
cool.
outside the room you guys stayed outside of. That used to be bookshelves. It's just cabinet doors, but it was a bookshelf that opened up into the furnace.
Oh, a Murphy door is what they call it.
Is that what they call it? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I call it a Harry Potter door.
I got one of those in
So
my shop.
I'm doing double Murphy doors for this client, and I'm gonna build him a bar and some upper cabinets and a floating desk, and I'm gonna trim out his whole basement. And he called me, and he said he's ready to start. So I'm like, oh gosh, we'll try to start that next week.
Dan,
Really?
everything you make is massive.
Yeah, I don't do small projects unless it's around the holidays. So I got a lot of new followers around the holidays when I was making cutting boards, and people are like, oh, you must be making cutting boards with all these big glue ups I've been doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I don't
No.
do cutting boards unless it's around Christmas. Sorry, you signed up for this. Anyway, what's on your bench, Pete?
I actually had a pretty busy week. Words are hard. Okay.
Yeah, they are.
So I think last week I mentioned I made a custom print for John over at Ahanui Artisans, which if you don't follow him, check him out. Dude's growing his business like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff going on. But we actually ended up doing some trade work, so he ended up sending me one of his coaster forms. So I got one of these things. Yo, these things are really nice quality, and he cuts all these things out on a CNC. He's got
And
a
a shop
vacuum
bot.
bed shop. Yeah.
Yep.
And this thing's really nice quality. It's ready he pre-seals it when he ships out that like your first one. So it's like ready to go out of the box, which is actually really cool. So I'm excited for that. I had a student gift me a burl that's about 12 inches by 12 inches and about 3-4 inches tall. It's a nice little
12
piece
inches?
of burl. Yep, 12 inches, roughly millimeter. How many millimeters is that, Dan?
A lot.
He doesn't know all the maths. Just
Hold
most
on,
of
I'll tell you.
them. No, stop it.
Keep going.
So you can ask Siri.
No.
So he got me one of those, and I'm pretty stoked because I'm going to be doing some resin
305.
project. Thank you, appreciate it. 305 millimeters. Ash, you're welcome, and everyone in Canada. So I got that resin form. I'm going to be making some coasters and some other projects with that. I also made a bunch of custom rulers for another maker in the community, Austin Albers. He brought this idea to me, and I was like, dude, I've been working on this design for a bit, and I've been lazy, and he kind of pushed me to do it. So I made these sweet little rulers, and I figured out how to make double-sided cuts or double-sided engravings on the on the laser, which is difficult because you don't have like a fence to throw things up against. So you just have to make your own. It's extra fun and creative. So I did that. Those are pretty fun. I got on a lathe this week, mostly out of being mad. Dan, I pretty much turned like a piece of wood that you pre-chucked in the lathe that you sent me.
I pre-chucked a piece of like silver maple.
Yeah,
You turned walnut.
No, but I turned that initially and then haven't turned a thing since. So I chucked up this this blank that I had. It was Sapele. I thought it was walnut too. Started turning it. I'm like, this is not walnut the way it's coming off of it. And I made a little mallet. Actually, wait. Oh yeah, I have it right here. So anyone watching the video, I got a sweet little mallet. So I still have to finish it, but also learned that Abranet is really good for lathe sanding because it's so flexible. It doesn't crease at all. But anyways, last thing I'm doing is yet another maker project. There's someone in the community. Their family member reached out to me about making a custom sign. I'm keeping it super secret. You guys know about it. But basically, I made a panel of walnut and I CNC'd out.
The one for April Wilkerson?
Yeah. Stop it. It definitely doesn't rhyme with schmad from schmixtish schmishma.
What?
Are you
Brad?
You okay?
Oh
No, it's not
it definitely doesn't rhyme with.
That sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher there for a second.
Just turned into a Muppet. But yeah, so I'm making that, and I've never actually made a sign like this on a CNC. I carved everything out to about 0.2 inches. I had to use 3 different bits to get down to all the fine details. And today I actually filled the entire thing with epoxy. So it's not like I carved out letters and filled those letters. I carved out a round of letters and filled everything around it with like a border. So that was kind
You
of
turned everything into
nerve-wracking.
a negative space.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's in my shop drying right now. The heater's really doing a nice job keeping the temperature good. It's actually already pretty hard, which is good. That's what you want in epoxy. Fun fact. And that's it. That's been my week. It's been pretty busy. I'm going to teach again tomorrow. Only 3 weeks left before I'm done with the school and then get to do stuff at home. Now, Mike, what's going on with you?
I delivered. Did I do that last week? No, I did that this week. I delivered the redwood coffee table I've been working on.
That thing's sick.
So
Wait,
sexy.
was that last week or this week?
That's this
I
week.
can't remember everything. Yeah, I think it was Monday I delivered that. Yeah, because Super Bowl
Yeah.
was Sunday, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Correct.
Sunday.
Go Sports.
So, Sunday I finished. Yeah, go team, go my favorite squadron. On Sunday I finished our walnut coffee table. I used Rubio Pure on that, and I'll tell you what, man, I'm absolutely in love with that coffee table. It is. I literally go downstairs and I just rub my hands on it. I just love it.
Which
What's up,
says a lot about Rubio, because a little peek behind the curtain, when Mike sent the pictures before he put finish on it, he was like, I don't know about this. It's not that great. You put Rubio on it and you were like, oh my God, it's so amazing.
Oh yeah. It's I just love that table. I've been working on it every moment I can. Like usually I'm up here for work. I've been taking my Mac and my Surface Pro down there and working every day just because it's so nice. I get the fire going. Anyway. And then Monday I delivered the redwood coffee table, which was awesome. My CPA, he really was it's just so awesome when you deliver something to a client and they clearly love it. You know, it was really great seeing his face, and his assistant. I don't know if she's his assistant actually. Her name's Megan. She's super nice. I don't know. I think she's the administrative assistant there. I actually don't know. I should know for sure. But she was like, oh, it's just great. So I'm also making them some floating shelves.
Very nice.
And then that same redwood slab, it was actually a slab that my neighbor Ken, you guys met Ken.
Yeah.
He actually found the original table. It was a 5.5 inch thick piece of
Whoa.
redwood that I had resawed. So he had thick 37 Cs. So he has the other side of it. So he came over Tuesday night or something, or maybe even Monday night, and we got finish on his as well. So that one's done. I got 3 slabs out of my shop, which felt really good. And then right now I'm just kind of in go mode. I've got to get the bench started. I did all the layout actually today before the show. That's why I was running late. I kind of made a cut list for everything for myself. Luckily, I've already made this same bench, so I was able to pull my
That
notes.
helps.
I keep a notepad. Yeah, I keep a notepad with all my notes. So I pulled my notes in and I made my cut list. So tomorrow I've got my cousin coming over to help me for the day. I think he's coming over Sunday too. So we're gonna try to knock out the majority of the bench in terms of the rough cuts and all the rough milling. And then I've been talking about this dining table that a lady had me flatten 2 walnut slabs like a month or 2 ago. She finally approved me building the top for her. So, that reminds me, I need to order the C channel. So I need to order the C channel for that.
Where are you gonna get
I'm
those
doing
from?
a big little place called Bidwell. Coffee 10% off. So I gotta order those from Bidwell. I gotta get a hold of Aaron over there. And I actually don't know what length I need, but I'll figure that out. Not on the air, that's for sure. But yeah, I gotta get that ordered. And I'm just kind of busy. Oh, this week I've been prototyping this sign for like 2 weeks. I've been finally starting to cut it. It's not a sign, it's a chart. It's a conversion chart. And I put it up on Etsy 2 nights ago, and I've had 15 sales on it, which, man, thanks to everyone who, I'm not like putting my son through college with that thing, but it's cool. It feels good to have an item that people seem to like. So,
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've got that thing up there and I really like it. So, I like how it came out. I like the design. I think it looks pretty cool. And, some other people do too. So that's moving. And then, I just had some other Etsy sales this week, just small stuff. So, kind of averaging like a sale a day right now. I had someone today buy a bunch of stuff on the store, which was really cool. But yeah, it's just kind of trucking along right now. There's a bunch of other big news that happened this week that the guys know about. I'm not really about to go into it yet. There's a lot of implications from it. So I'm going to start talking about that more as more information comes in on that. But there's some
But
very
people
big
won't
and
say no
exciting-
because of the implication.
Pete needs to watch It's Always Sunny so bad.
Everyone watched the- I
I'm
really
sorry.
did.
Whenever I hear that word implication, that's what comes to my head.
But there's some big changes coming. It's not happening fast, but there's some big changes coming down the pipe, and I'm extremely excited right now. So that's kind of it for my week. I know that was a long what's on my bench. I mean,
It's
Standard.
more of a what's on my life, which
Yeah,
is what this
lots
is
of
about,
stuff going
really.
on.
What's
Yeah,
on my bench
it's
is a
a
metaphor for what's going on.
Oh, you're gonna
in our
double
life.
down on this?
Double Dunlap.
Dan, how was your day?
Pretty good.
Dan got really mad when somebody asked that question in a pre-show. How's your day? Well, we do that in a podcast.
Kayla. All right. Let's why don't we just jump into some questions here, huh?
What's
Yes,
on my
please.
questions?
What's
That's my
on
bit. Don't do that.
voicemail.
I didn't do it high
Let him
pitch.
have this.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Jay the D. Yep, Josh the Dead, one of the Big IG, coming at you with a question this week. And this one's about lasers. Now, sorry, Dan, I know Mike and Pete both have a laser, so really this is pointing towards you guys.
Take a nap,
I
Dan.
am looking at getting a laser eventually. Nothing big. I'm going to keep it small because my wife will shoot me. But how important is it to laser an item with different finishes? I know this might be confusing me. Let me rephrase this. Is it best to laser something, specifically a wood piece, when there's absolutely no finish on it? Or can you go ahead and throw the laser on there, say, after a good oiling or a paint job? Paint on wood. Oh, that'd be funny. Anyways, but that's just the question. Lasering wood finishes. Yeah. Obscure. Have a good week.
Dan, why don't
Dan.
you go first?
Go first.
I don't own a laser, obviously, but something like, I have little alarm bells going off when you want to bring like a laser or fire to a finish. Like, it just seems like a bad idea. I don't know.
It is a bad idea.
Tell me.
So you don't want to do that. You definitely want it to be wood. First of all, you don't know what, even if it's a natural finish, you don't know how. I guarantee you're not going to look at the bottle or at the canister. It's going to tell you how it responds to a laser.
Yep.
So you're kind of like in guess land at that point. Like you have no idea how it's going to respond. I know like polyurethane is like essentially plastic. I mean, poly is essentially plastic.
Yeah.
So if you're melting plastic, it's going to release chlorine, and then you'll die. So that's a big no.
I mean, you could
so
die.
I mean, you could. Yeah, if you're like sitting over there huffing it, you know. I mean,
YOLO.
you could die, but YOLO. No, I mean, yeah, you really want to do it on unfinished wood. Pete, do you have some sort of counterpoint that I can't
Yes, I do.
possibly imagine?
Yeah, I do.
Of course.
Of course I do. So he also asked for a recommendation, and I know he's got a Shapeoko, so I would recommend there's a
He asked
JTech.
for a recommendation?
He asked like what laser to get entry level.
Oh,
one.
did he?
Yeah, in the beginning.
I didn't
But
get that part.
What I would say is, yeah, you can go with like the super cheapo ones off of Amazon. But honestly, you have a great CNC axis already, and the JTech company makes a laser for that one. They've actually a couple different ones, and they mount pretty seamlessly to the body of your CNC, and works pretty well. I've heard very good reviews. It's no, 45 watt
Say
CO2
it.
laser, but you're gonna need to wear the special protection glasses.
It's a
or have-
diode, right? Like
Yeah,
a
it's wearing a
7-watt diode.
So it's that super bright
it's-
blue light.
It's mostly for engraving and not so much cutting.
It's only engraving. Yeah, it's
No,
not
it'll
cutting.
cut. It'll cut, but you'll have to do multiple
It'll cut
passes,
paper.
or no, it'll cut wood. You just have to do. You do have to do
Paper
multiple
is
passes.
wood.
It's not quite as touche, Dan. You would knowledge Dan over here. All right.
Knowledge guy.
Yeah.
I'm a knowledge guy.
I'm a knowledge guy. You get to be one thing. You don't get to be math, idea,
hack
and
guy.
knowledge guy.
I can do
Okay.
all three.
It's World of Warcraft. Pick 2 classes. Come on.
I'm the multitask guy too.
Oh God, get out. Yeah, look into JTech. And I actually recently did a test because I was curious about this. I had a couple boards that were finished, ready for sale, and I had someone ask about customization. And around the holidays, I had some scrap pieces of wood that I like, some offcuts from the cutting boards that I made. I ended up just putting Odies on them and leaving them on the shelf. It's just offcuts of walnut, cherry, whatever, maple. And I ran it through the laser, and it actually cut quite nice. And I asked some people, I asked the community, and people were saying like, yeah, I've cut it with that and it works just fine. What it does is, obviously, because it's a natural finish, it heats it up so it gets very glossy around the area. But what I would do is rebuff the entire surface with Odies again. It looks perfect. So Mike, just so you know, regular engraving settings, like 120 on our laser, it looks just great. So you can re-engrave it. Now, granted, I don't know what it does to the laser itself, what it off gases, things like that. With wood, you usually don't have to worry about it too much. With cutting certain plastics and certain things, you do get stuff on the glass and on your mirrors, which could hamper your cutting ability. But yes, you can cut Odies. I know that for a fact. I would not cut any like polyurethanes or finishes like that, and never epoxy. It's a big no-no.
Yeah, you can't do epoxy.
Yeah,
That
that's my-
is straight
my
up
thing.
plastic. You'll literally just be off gassing chlorine.
Yep.
Okay. This next question is from Justin Bailey. He is
Love
from the
that guy.
internet.
Hey guys, Justin here from Campfire Woodworks, and I have a question for you about shop apparel. So I know you've touched a bit on footwear in the shop, but what about the rest of your outfit? It's a rule in my household now that my shop clothes have to come off at the door and they go straight into a special hamper because I'm usually completely covered in dust. So do you all have specific clothes that you wear for the shop? And how do you deal with washing out all the sawdust and everything? Thanks. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
Dan? Not
First of
you?
all, no.
Oh.
First of all, I picture Justin coming in from his shop and just stripping naked. That's
I do. Even before this conversation, that's all I had in my head.
right. Get it out of my head now.
Right?
But anyways, I don't know if
That's all
I
I can
have
think of
special
anymore.
shop clothes. It's my regular clothes at this point. I feel like anytime I go anywhere nice, I'm wearing shop clothes. Like oh, these are the nicest jeans I own, so I'm gonna wear these.
Funeral, shop clothes. Ethnic
Yeah.
sandwiches, shop clothes.
and
Well,
a
he's
nice
gonna wear a
jacket.
black shirt.
Yeah, funeral and a nice jacket and my shop clothes.
Is it a Milwaukee heated
AWP
jacket?
shirt and a sports blazer.
Dude, that Milwaukee heated coat is amazing. I mean, it's been like stupid cold here lately. And even without the battery in that thing and without the heatedness of it, it's great. It's great. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Jake Miller for sending that to me. Thank you, Jake. Anyways, I don't have anything to add. I don't feel like I just wear regular clothes. I'm lucky in that. Well, I'm still talking. I'm lucky in
You
that,
said I
like,
don't have anything to add.
but I'm adding.
Let the man finish.
I'm lucky in that, like, right inside
She
my
said.
shop, right inside the house from the shop is my laundry room. So if it's really bad, I can just like jump in there, strip right there, and make sure the kids aren't around because I don't want to scar them for life, and just throw my clothes in the laundry. But you know, I have a little Milwaukee like battery powered mini leaf blower, and I'll blow myself off with that thing. So you know that helps. Pete, what do you do?
Yeah, and Dan's got it right. A nice air compressor or vacuum shower or both if you want to double hand it.
You got
blow it
shop
out.
help, you know, you're just like, hey, you blow me, I'll blow you.
Yeah, it just, anyways, so you do
Nebraska's
that.
weird.
Well, he brings up a good point that none of us really touched on yet. Just two of us have spoken, but none of us have touched on yet, which is, why are you coming out of the shop so dusty? Like, that's the first problem. Like, I think working on some dust collection, step A. Step two, what I do personally is I have a hook as soon as you walk into the garage on my tool cabinet. It's actually a bunch of 8 clamps that's the hooks. And like if I have like a shop hoodie, shop pants that are already dusty, I come into the house, but then I'll change into PJs or regular clothes around the house and I'll hang up those clothes in the shop. It's
You
almost
have
like
like a ballroom outfit you wear to the shop.
no, well, it is a super deep V down to my navel, but essentially it's like, imagine like the intro to Mr. Rogers' Magic Neighborhood. It's like Mr. Petrie's Magic Workshop. And like I walk in, I'm singing, I take off my house clothes, I put on my shop flannel or hoodie, pants,
Your jacket.
breakaway pants. My apron
Smoking
hangs
jacket.
there. I know for a fact Justin
I know
wears
what I
his
need
apron
to
a lot.
do.
Yeah, it's a smoking jacket. Little pipe. But yeah, I keep them right in the shops. I do tend to swap out, and I actually, full disclosure, I have to vacuum a lot just outside the shop because we have carpet there. A lot of sawdust makes it into the house, no matter how much I try. So,
Really?
Mike, what about you and your hardwood floors or tile floors, whatever they have in California?
Hardwood.
Ooh,
Hardwood
fancy. Weird flex.
You literally just asked. No, I just wear clothes and I keep an air compressor by my shop door and I just blow myself off. That's all I do. Also, I have really good dust collection. It's like super high priority for me. So I don't like get covered in crap when I am in the shop. I do get dusty, but I just blow myself off.
Dust
It's not
collection,
like a big
man.
deal.
That's number one thing you can
It's a
do.
big difference. Yep. What did
Daniel Dunlap,
Dan's
stop
done
checking
something
your
horrible.
phone.
No, he's done something horrible with the face app. 100%.
Oh, Dan. All right, next question.
This next question is from Rui Silva from RS7 Designs.
Hey guys, it's Rui with RS7 Designs. One of the things I gotta get better at is shooting progress videos. Between the day job, family, orders, whenever I can get in the shop, I tend to just go in there and knock it out. But I do love the reaction I get from customers when I do the final reveal. So I do enjoy that a lot, especially since I do a lot of local orders. But the question I have for you guys is, if you're shooting progress videos for customers' orders, does it diminish the reaction or their surprise from customers at all? Or do you tend to see that the customers enjoy or get more excited about the project because they see the progress as you're building it? All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Pete, what do you think?
Well, I'm currently working on a customer build that I have to keep completely secret as per the wishes of the person actually is requesting the job, which is the wife of the person that's getting it. So doing that, like not being able to do progress shots is actually super difficult, and people are getting hella annoyed. Yes, enjoy that. Sorry, Dan's sending dank memes to the group chat. Yeah, my followers are getting hella annoyed because I'm not sharing. I'm being on purpose very vague about everything I'm doing, but I don't think it takes away at all. I find that the customers are actually getting more excited as they see stuff. Now, you are occasionally going to get the customer, and Dan could probably talk about this a little more, that starts to nitpick. But so I'm going to say, me personally, my customers have enjoyed that, except for the times where I have to hide it, and I actually find it kind of frustrating because I really want to share the thing I'm making, but I can't because it's super cool. But all that. So Dan, why don't you talk about your experiences with that?
I have had clients nitpick when they see the progress. That's pretty much the downside of sharing what you're doing on social media.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's a huge selling point. I think a lot of people love to see how things are coming together. I know the walnut desk client, they actually paid me a little extra to make an end video, like of everything kind of coming together from all the things that I've shared, which I think was super cool because, along with the desk, they wanted to share with the people they know and are friends with and stuff of how it came together. So you're going to get both ends of the spectrum. I think you're going to get people that kind of nitpick and as they follow along, but I think the majority of people really like to see how it comes together. And I don't think it diminishes like the final outcome. As far as the walnut desk goes, like I could have took all the pictures I wanted in the world, but it really is hard to capture the actual true size and how awesome it was in person. So I think that still has some value. Mike, what do you think?
I have nothing to add. I agree.
All righty.
I just agree. Ditto.
What cop out.
I guess it's not
totally
much else to do.
topic,
I mean,
but
this customers like to see the progress pics. I mean, or
they love
progress shots. It doesn't take anything away. They don't follow that closely, so they're not like. I mean, sometimes they do if they nitpick.
I tell all my clients, thank you, and you can follow along in the progress by following me here, and that's how I get like 90% of all my followers. So there you go, hot tip.
Dan and Mike, this is kind of off topic, but remember that photo I promised you of little dancing Pete? Yeah, apparently I sent it to my work chat, so that's gonna be a fun conversation on Tuesday. It's just me and my buddies, but they're like, "Is that little Pete?" I was like, "Oh yeah."
Whoops,
I'm drunk. Ignore me.
Pete usually has a different connotation. Dan, why don't you do the giveaway?
Yeah, let's do the giveaway. Oh, thank you for reminding me about little Pete.
Just sent it.
Hold on, I gotta find my. I gotta find my spreadsheet here.
Emma looks so young.
Hey.
So last week, this obviously. Let me back up a little bit. Obviously, every week we have a giveaway, and it's sponsored by Macbeath Hardwood. So thank you very much, Macbeath Hardwood. Last week they gave away a tight bond package, which included a 16-ounce bottle of 1, 2, and 3, the no run drip glue, the melamine glue, the dark glue, the high glue, and an 8-ounce quick and thick, and a glue brush. I mean, it was a heck of a tight bond package. One could call it a tight package. I think somebody dropped that joke last week.
It's a big package of
huge package.
glues. Yeah.
So anyways,
how are you guys sponsored?
Huh?
How are you guys sponsored?
We don't know. We really don't know.
Talk to my media manager, Mike.
So if you didn't know, we do a pre-show live on YouTube every Friday night before we do the actual podcast. And that is when we draw the winner of the previous week's giveaway. And last week, Todd Singer was actually in the chat in our live pre-show, and he won the tight bond package.
Last week? I mean, this week.
Well, yeah. Well, when this comes out, it'll be last week, right? I'm trying to.
Unless you're a patron.
Unless
on
you're a
Saturday.
patron,
Finger guns.
So, okay, week 35. This week, we are giving away a, let me practice here. We're giving away a micro jig gripper thanks to Macbeath Hardwood. That's a $60 value. That is an essential tool for any table saw, I feel like, at this point.
It's a great tool.
It's a good safety device. It's a great tool. Everybody should have one. We're giving one away. And we have a code phrase for this week, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we've come up with anything, so I'm going to come up with something on the fly.
Polish nipple tassels.
Those Dancing with the Czars.
Nope, that's
the
show
title. I'm not taking that. That is the show title. But you did say something after you said that you accidentally sent that picture to your work friends, and it's Little Pete. I believe Little Pete is going to be our code phrase this week.
I love how many times I've been the code phrase. Like it actually just.
We love you, Pete.
You're
not
the ungiving font of funniness.
Oh, I am Comic Sans the person.
Comic Sans personified. I change it.
Comic Sans person.
Comics. The code phrase is going to be Comic Sans personified.
You expect people to spell personified?
You know, get close.
Comic
Sans personified.
Is that with a K?
Whatever. Send that to us in an email at awpgiveaway@gmail.com, and you will be entered for this week's giveaway. Thanks to Macbeath Hardwood, a micro grip. Mike, I cannot say this.
Micro grip jigger.
I can't say this if I go fast. I got to slow down and think about what
I'm using a table sock jigger.
Micro jigger. This week's
we love
going to
micro
be the
jig.
micro grip. Oh my
no,
god!
micro jig gripper. Come on, guy. Come on.
Thank you, Macbeath Hardwood, for sponsoring this week's giveaway yet again. Back to the show.
Oh gosh.
It's Dan.
All right. Well, this next question is brought to you by Sam Zook.
Hey fellas, it's Sam at Heirloom Woodshop. So my question for this week is, if hard wax oils weren't a thing, what would your go-to finish be? That's it. No cop-out answers though, for those of you that don't like VOCs.
Pete.
My go-to for years has been wipe on poly, but then I kind of fell in love with tongue oil too, just because they're kind of, of the finishes, they're fairly straightforward. You could just do multiple coats, just sand in between. But I've recently just fallen in love with like Odie's and one coat finishes or simple finishes, or what they used to be known as a 1 day finish, which because you could knock out a finish completely in one single day. I'd probably default to wipe on poly. It's just easy. You could spray poly too if you cut it down a little more than beyond wipe on. I think you can cut. Or can you spray wipe on? You probably have to go a little thinner.
No, I think you want to go thicker.
Thicker, you think?
Oh, then
But
wipe on. Oh, good point.
Yeah, because wipe on is 50-50.
Yeah, I think you would want to add more in there. You're right. Yeah, I think it would probably atomize too much if you were too thin.
You probably want to go like right in between. So it's usually a third, right? You go 2/3 to a third. What is it with lacquer? When you're making, to make your own lacquer to spray.
I don't thin it out. You're probably supposed to. I think you're supposed to do 10%, but I didn't thin it out with the other one I had before.
Oh, okay. I think Dan like cuts it in a certain way, but yeah, I'd go with wipe on poly.
It into 10. I think Dan cuts it to 10% with lacquer.
Yeah, Dan, what do you cut your lacquer?
But he's gone right now. Oh, there he is.
I cut my lacquer. So I buy brushing lacquer actually from Menards. That's why I cut it. And brushing lacquer is just thicker lacquer. So I cut it with lacquer thinner, obviously.
Oh no.
You thin it with lacquer thinner. Got it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm writing this down. Go slow.
A 1-to-2 ratio.
Okay, so
I really
a third. So you do go down by a third. Okay, because I was wondering like, can you? Because I was saying my go-to quick finish used to be wipe on poly. It still is for certain projects, but like, could you spray wipe on poly? That's probably too thin.
You can spray it. I mean,
Think it'll be
it
fine?
might be difficult, but you can spray it.
You'd probably want to go a little thicker, right?
A tiny bit thicker. It's pretty thin stuff, but
Yeah.
you know what? As much as I thin down the lacquer, it's pretty thin as well. So
Yeah.
I think you could spray it. I've never tried it though.
Yeah.
That's a good
Well,
question.
Mike, what about you? Because I feel like Dan's actually gonna have some good answers.
Wow.
Jab,
High
jab.
expectations over there.
If I wasn't able to use any of those, I would definitely be doing even more lacquer, which I love lacquer. I probably wouldn't be doing too many polys because it yellows so much, unless I went with like a waterborne poly. Another product that I do like a lot is a product called Old Masters Gel Poly. It is a gorgeous finish, and it is a wipe on. It's a gel. They have a clear satin that I like. My friend Ty got me onto it. I used it for my guitar, actually, which is sitting right there, but I've used it for a bunch of pieces. It's just super high VOC. You really want to be able to, if you're in your garage, you really want to be able to open up your garage. So I don't use it for a lot of the year. But yeah, it's high VOC. So, but it's a gel poly. You get a finish on there, no sanding between coats. You do another one on and you're done. So you could start one at like 4 p.m, put the next coat on 6 hours later at night, and then be done in the morning for that one. And then, yeah, for spraying, I do like a polyacrylic. I really like polyacrylic a lot. That's just a waterborne satin poly, and then lacquers. I'm trying to get into some conversion varnishes. I just keep getting people telling me how great conversion varnishes are. So I'm trying to, I've been doing some research on that since I got my new sprayer.
If you think the VOCs and lacquer is bad, conversion varnish is like doubly bad.
Double Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great. It's super durable, but the VOCs are terrible.
Yeah, it's something you don't want to spray like in a small garage shop.
Right.
So, what about you, Dan?
Well, as you guys know, I spray a lot of lacquer these days. I think we've talked about that before. Like I said, I buy brushing lacquer, I thin it down, and I spray it through my Fuji sprayer. But if I couldn't use that, I really like water-based polyurethane, which is just polyacrylic. I buy Verithane's brand from Menards, which is great. I think it's great. And I use satin finish for most everything. I don't like a super high glass, but I don't like a super matte finish. So satin's just middle of the road stuff, which I think fits most people's, expectations. Preference.
It's a shiny
Words.
matte. It's all it is. It's just right in the middle.
And before I sprayed anything, I always use the wipe on poly. I think wipe on poly it's so easy to apply. I mean, you have to be a real bozo to mess that up. I mean, it's so easy to apply. It's so thin. It's self-leveling. It doesn't leave any strokes in it from like a brush or anything.
It can get a little more complicated the more coats you do, but the first coat is, if you're doing a one coat for color,
right?
Good.
I mean, it's so thin down that it's kind of like putting on an oil finish for that first coat. It's the multiple coats that really adds to it. I mean, polyurethane just binds to each other. It doesn't like meld into each other. So you're just adding layer upon layer, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a super durable finish, which is another reason why I love it so much. I use it for tabletops and stuff. I think it's super durable, especially if it's a piece that's going to a client that has like kids that are just going to terrorize a piece like a tabletop. I think it's great.
I didn't mention, I'm sorry to jump in, but I've been using the Total Boats Halcyon a lot, and that I really like a lot. Dan, I don't think Dan's a huge fan of it, but I really do like the Halcyon a lot. I just did it on the redwood table, and man, it's 1 hour between coats, and it's fully dried in 12 hours after you finish that final coat. So
yeah, it's
really
basically
like it's not for everyone though.
It's basically a water-based,
it's a
product. It's a water-based varnish, is it not? It's water-based.
Yeah.
So it dries pretty quick.
Varnish, yeah.
Or it cures.
Yeah, it dries. It's ready in an hour for the next coat. I love this stuff. Pete.
Yeah, I already went.
Oh, right.
I went first.
Polly.
We're pros.
Dan? No, I'm just kidding. The next one is from Tommy G. He has a question about Polish nipple tassels.
Hey guys, Thomas here from Thomas Custom Woodworks, and I'm wondering about blades and what blades you all use for your table saw. So I'm in need of a new table saw blade, and I know for ripping you want less teeth, maybe 24 teeth. For cross cutting you want a little more, maybe 50 or 60 plus teeth. And then there's the combination blades, the general purpose blades. So I was wondering, what blades do you guys use on a regular basis when you're ripping? Do you use one blade, and then if you're cross cutting, do you switch that blade out for another blade? Or is it feasible to keep sort of a combination blade in there at all times that sort of does both? But just curious, what blades do you guys use on your table saw for different applications? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Pete.
Well, obviously, a nice thin kerf ripping blade and a fine finish glue blade, and then a nice combination just for all around, like a 40 to 50 tooth combination. Those are all the three that I own and that I think everyone should have in their shop. That being said, that 48 tooth forest blade never leaves my saw. I rip, I cut, I cross cut, I whatever, everything with it. I'm just kind of too lazy. B, when I finally bought like an expensive blade, I got whoa, that like there's a difference. I get it now. So it's actually that thing's been amazing. Aside from that, before that, I was just buying Diablo blades, and I was always a huge fan of combination. If you're not going to switch out your blade a lot, get the combination. But if you're getting a bunch of lumber, you're going to be ripping for an hour, stick that thin kerf resaw blade in there, because that's going to make a huge difference. It's usually wider tooth spacing, so it gets
What'd
rid
you
of
say?
material.
Resaw blade?
Not a resaw blade. I'm thinking of bandsaw now. A ripping blade. Resaw ripping. Well, resaw on a bandsaw, but yeah, a ripping blade. Nice. What, like 30 tooth, 30
24.
count, 34. What is it?
24 is what I use.
Yeah. Highly recommend that if you're doing a lot of milling. And thin kerf's usually nice because you're just not wasting a lot of wood when you're doing that. But yeah, I just kind of default to my combination. It's great. Dan?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different blades you can use, and they all have kind of a different application. But let's be honest, we're not all switching blades out like constantly, unless you got some sort of OCD problem.
Yeah.
I put a good combination blade on my saw and just kind of roll with it. Right now I have a 50 tooth, I have a 50 tooth Amana tool Mamba blade on my table saw, and it works great. It's sharp. And little plug for our sponsor: if you want one of those blades, you can hit up Macbeath Hardwood and get one. Yeah. But like Pete said, if you're going to be doing a bunch of ripping, and you know that you're going to be doing a bunch of ripping, you should have a good ripping blade, which I actually do. Yeah. It's just a matter of like, is the time switching over blades worth it?
If it's one or two cuts, who cares?
Exactly.
If it's 50
so I
cuts,
have a really good ripping blade. I have a good Freud ripping blade. It's a 24 tooth thin kerf blade. I have a really good crosscut blade. It's an 80 tooth. I think it's a CMT blade. I wouldn't call it really good, but it's good enough, and it does the job well. And I have the combo blade from Mamba that I just put on there. Or, if you're gonna use your saw blade to make dado cuts and stuff, you should get like a nice flat grind, full kerf blade, 1/8 inch flat grind. A lot of times when you buy a table saw blade, the teeth are
left, right, center.
Left, right, center. Yes, thank you, Pete. A good flat grind blade will have all the teeth flat, so that if you're making dados with it, you don't get ridges in your cuts. Anyways, that's another longer topic, I think. Mike, what do you think?
I keep a 24 tooth full kerf glue line rip blade in my table saw at all times. It never gets changed out ever.
Wow,
I don't do I almost do no cross cutting on my table saw. I almost never use my giant sled anymore since I got a track saw. I do almost all my cross cutting on my track saw, and that's got a general purpose blade in there. That's got the Festool one in there. I also have like a replacement rip one in there, or that I swap out into my smaller track saw every once in a while. For my table saw, I also have an 8-inch Oslin dado stack set. That is, it'll go to, it's not the 13/16 wide dados. And then I have a finger joint flat top wide blade set that can either be an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch for finger joints. It's a flat top, so you can get perfectly flat, no crowning on the tips. And then in my miter saw, I have an 80 tooth. I have the original, actually it's a 60 tooth Festool blade, which is actually really good, and I haven't swapped out, but I have an 80 tooth cross-cutting fine tooth blade from Spider that I have ready to go to get thrown in there, because that's what I was using in my other saw. And when I sold my other miter saw, I put the blade that it came with in there. So but yeah, I don't do hardly any cross-cutting on my table saw. It's like all rips.
And you brought up a good point.
I keep a 24 tooth.
Dan, what do you keep in your
And I
miter
keep a full
saw?
girth.
I have a 80 tooth. I think I just have a Bosch blade in my miter saw.
Okay. Yeah, I have like a
Get that
60
thing out of there.
60
That
tooth
thing is
Diablo.
hot trash.
No. It's a
That
replacement
Bosch blade. Oh, replacement. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
it's a replacement Bosch blade.
I understand.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
like
their
a
blades are
60
really-
tooth Diablo, I think, or something. Yeah, I feel like the miter saw always gets like the nicer, cleaner.
Well, the miter saw is like 99.9% doing crosscuts, so I figured
Yeah.
an 80 tooth blade.
We're not
in
doing a
there.
lot of rips on there.
No, but like I'm saying, like,
I've done a rip or
I mean,
two.
if you're
there.
on a
It's not
construction site,
recommended.
you might go with something a lot lower tooth count because you don't need that. You're just
On a
ripping
construction site, who
2x4s all
cares?
over.
Just
Yeah, exactly. So
just take a hatchet and knock it
usually
with
you go
another hammer.
something
and cut it
finer
that
for
way.
that. Just
Framers
curious.
don't care. But I did want to say you Mike, you brought up the Festool track saw. That blade that comes with that track saw is actually really nice.
Really nice.
I haven't.
Yeah,
had
same with the Capex. The blade's
one.
unreal. I have
Yeah.
no desire to change that blade out.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
I think that's it for that. Yeah. I mean, I'm really lazy about switching out my table saw blade. So
Yeah,
I've
let's be
kinda
honest.
given up
We
on
don't like
myself.
switching out blades.
I-
Nobody likes doing it.
Yeah, I just
Get
keep
yourself a
it.
good
I just keep it
combo
with
blade.
my rip.
Good combo and a good rip. Yeah.
This next question is from Tyler Isaacs.
Hey guys, Tyler Isaacs here, Wooden Whiskers Trading Company, and I got a question for the pod. So I'm interested, do you have any quirks or superstitions or maybe rituals you like to do before you come in the shop or when you're shutting down the shop? Appreciate it, guys.
Dan, rituals.
I do a dance, start a fire, and take all my clothes off and start chanting really loud.
Throwing hot dogs.
For hot dogs. I get my neighbors to
Max
throw
just
hot dogs
catches
at
them
my
out of the
face.
air.
Oh, the only
The
thing
gift.
the only yes, exactly what I have pictured. The only thing I do when I go out to my shop is it doesn't feel right if I go out there without a cup of coffee in my hand. I have to go out to the shop with a cup of coffee in my hand, otherwise it just feels like something's
At
off.
least a tumbler. I feel like a tumbler.
Yeah, it's got to
I need,
have
like-
I got to have that DDWW tumbler I got from Christy over at Oak Hill Millworks with my logo on it.
Got my two right here.
Yeah,
A Rooster Shed one. This is my coffee mug lately.
I guess that's my ritual. Just have that
Like
in my
that.
hand. Pete,
For me, going in, aside from preheat shop in winter and cool off shop in summer, I guess going out of the shop, there used to be a ritual of like I would close out almost every night by like all my lights were on strings. So I'd go around like, yeah, have a great night, guys. As I'm doing a story, I would just turn off all the lights and everyone would yell at me like, just get an Alexa, you savage. Or there these different ones.
confession.
Yeah,
I don't
Dan,
I don't ever turn my lights off. They're always on
in the shop?
in the shop.
It's
Never turn 'em off.
Nebraska. Your electricity bill is like nothing.
It's like $3.
It's $3.
It will charge
LED
him if he
lights.
turns them off.
His
It
heat
throws off the
and
system
lights
too
are
much.
on all year round.
You think I'm lying?
It
They're
fights with
never
the
off.
AC in the
No
summer.
one thinks you're lying.
Yeah, but no real rituals. I
Oh,
joked
I'm
around.
sure
You liar.
Yeah, I joked around in the beginning in a pre-show that like I have a Wayne Gretzky thing that I just slap on the way in. Or maybe that's like Brad Rodriguez. I just slap it on the way in. They're
In my
on
shop
right now.
Lights fully on.
Of course they are.
I think
I'm
mine
not,
are on right now too, but I
I'm
will be turning them
shocked.
off before I go to bed.
Mike, what do you think?
I need to get that Alexa shop thing that Mike has.
Yes.
He's probably going to talk about
It's no, I wasn't going to, but I will now. I don't have any like routines. I just go in there and tell my Alexa to turn on the shop, and then
That's your routine right there.
That's only
Alexa, turn on the shop.
I turn on my lights. Sick routine. No, I don't
Dan,
have any.
you may have just turned on a bunch of maker shops.
Alexa, turn on the lights.
I put my laser on one. Pew, pew. That was fun. No, I don't have any. I just try to get out there as soon as I can. I don't really have any like weird things I gotta do. I mean, things I gotta do before I go out there. So just gotta get out there and get in the shop. It's kind of my thing.
You can't tell me you don't go out there without a cup of coffee, though. I mean,
I usually.
coffee with coffee.
I
That's your thing.
On the weekends I do. On the weeknights I get out there at like 8:30, and then it's.
Oh
like
yeah, you're
super
probably
late.
not wanting to pound coffee.
Yeah, I'll be
able to
up
get to bed
even later. So, yeah, no. On the weekends though, I get up, we have breakfast, I roll out there with my coffee, and I work. So that I guess would be a routine then, going out there with my coffee on the weekends. So,
but no crazy rituals.
You win, Tyler Isaacs. Yeah, and then I promptly murder a virgin. So
sacrifice. We call it sacrifice.
Oh yeah, whoops, my bad. Sacrifice. That is. Oh, Dan has to read a question.
Ooh. And yes, hold on. Stall a little bit while I open this up.
Well, I'm doing it.
Oh yeah,
Just calm down.
That's right. I was like, wait, there's one more. Oh no, that's the question.
I have it. We're ready.
That's the one. Yeah.
This is from Nate. He sent it in to us on our podcast DMs on IG. Once again, we don't usually accept questions from our podcast IG, but here we are. I'm going to read it anyway. Nate says, hey guys, I have a question, conversation. Just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the topic of the expense of woodworking as a hobby. I feel a lot of woodworking influencers, I guess you'd call them that, are afraid. I have to like paraphrase because
it's all good.
You know, I guess you'd call them influencers, are afraid to actually talk about the real cost of woodworking. I feel it's taboo or something. If you're someone who is cheap or doesn't have the means, I don't think this is a hobby for you. Things like having a climate controlled shop, having proper dust collection, having all the proper 220 volt electrical outlets installed in your shop, then having the right tools to do each operation. I don't know. I guess I'm just blunt about it. If you want to do that hobby right and safely, it's a lot of money. Just wondering your thoughts. There was a lot of rambling. I'm not sure if there was a question there, but like, what are your thoughts on, I think what he's getting to is, what are your thoughts on the expense of this hobby profession?
I get what he's saying.
Like,
though. Like all these influencers make it seem like glamorous, but like it's expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy expensive.
So
what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I agree that anyone makes it like glamorous, but I think I agree with them that no one's like, hey,
have you seen my Instagram?
$1,300 for this tool.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's extremely expensive. I mean,
I don't want anybody to come rob me.
Hobby.
But we could probably all sit here and go, well, I got about $30,000 sitting out there in the garage. It's ridiculous now.
You don't. Yeah, I think that like it's extremely expensive. It's like anything. You could start like falling down the motorcycle niche. You could start getting into golf. You could get into like stocks. You could get into crafting. You could get into you can get into videography. You can get like it depends on. It's all about what you want to do with it. And look, if you're cheap, it's not for you. If money is tight, there's a reason that there's not like a ton of 20-year-olds into woodworking, because usually the people that are in it have an established career and they have some funny money and they can usually spend some money on this thing if it's not something they're trying to do for a living. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much people need to accurately represent that. Like, I don't think it's on the people. Like, I don't feel like I should have to explain to people that these things cost money. Do like 1 second of research and you'll see that these things cost money.
Yeah.
Like it's not really on like the people that are doing the hobby to explain it to people. Like, people spending time. If you spend any amount of time, I mean, look at how expensive some of these tools are. They're crazy expensive. I mean, you start getting into like the larger industrial tools. I mean, I was looking at some Italian made brand yesterday. They have like a 24-inch joiner. It's like $320,000. It's like the Ferrari of woodwork. They get insane. Like they get insane. But there's the other side of that same coin is, you know, if you just want to make some cutting boards all day long and you don't really want to go deep down the rabbit hole of expensive tools, you're going to be just fine with some pretty inexpensive tools for the most part. I mean, you could get barely above DIY grade tools. I mean, there's people on Instagram now who use a lot of those, the green tools to make just fine stuff. There's nothing wrong with those cutting boards. You can put food on them just as well as any other cutting board made on a saw that's $6,000.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's no shame and like, there's no reason to like shame people, but I think if you spend any amount of time looking into this hobby, you're going to go, oh yeah, this is expensive. And there's a tool for everything. I mean, this woodworking's been around. It's not new. So like there's like a tool for every single activity in woodworking. Like you can have a tool for everything, literally everything. I mean, there's a niche, everything's all niche. Look at all the different brands out there that make so many different things. It's crazy. Sorry, rant over. Anyone else want to jump in here? Or?
No, I agree 100% with you. You know, this is a rabbit hole and it depends on where you want to take it. Do you want to crush yourself financially, or do you want to just be a hobbyist and buy what you need as you need them?
Yep.
We all didn't just wake up with these tools in our shop one day. We built up to this.
It's a huge investment.
It's a huge investment. And I've been buying tools since I owned a house. Since I bought a house in 2001. It's not something I just went out and started buying and buying and buying. You upgrade over time. And as you make money at this, if that's one of your goals, you reinvest
you don't need
into your tools. So yeah, I think Mike, Pete, and I are all very lucky in that we have a lot of good tools, but it's not something we woke up to.
Yeah.
You know, we built up to this. I mean, we're very lucky in that, but
other thing is
it's been a grind.
Nobody needs to apologize for that to anyone. Like, you know, no one needs to apologize to someone.
No.
It's not even success. Like if you're an adult and you have your own money,
if you have a hobby that you enjoy doing, you don't
need to explain yourself to anyone with your money. If those tools bring you joy in your life, you go buy those tools and you get happiness with your money, because you know what? You're going to die. So why go through your whole life being like not finding joy out of anything? So you might as well take some of this money and have like a happy time for however short amount of time you're on this planet. So, I mean, that's kind of my outlook at it. I mean, you don't need to feel bad. I mean, you need to be a responsible adult, but that's not on anyone else but yourself. You can't like put that. You can't put that on other people. People don't seem to want to do any research for themselves these days. It seems like it seems like they want to just reach out to someone and get the answer from them. You know, it's like, man, you know, people go, man, you know a lot of things about this stuff. It's like, yeah, because I spent a lot of time researching it and trying to learn it. And that's the problem with me and Pete were just talking earlier about people that buy certain tools and they just want the thing to do it for them. But there's a lot.
They just want the answer. They just want the answer. They want it to work.
They just want the answer. It's like they don't want to look into why or how. That's relevant to this conversation in the sense that it's not on the people using the tools. It's not their responsibility to explain how much those tools were. Like, I mean, you want like on the post, like tool value in this post. Like, what do you want from that? That's kind of my point. It's just kind of like,
it's not instructable.
It's unreasonable. It's not anyway.
Plainer.
It's not even. It's not.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's not anyone's deal. I mean, it just doesn't.
So I would say
but the bottom line is it's extraordinarily expensive hobby, and tools can get crazy, and it depends on the scale and at what you do with it. I mean, there's CNCs that are like $300,000.
There's also CNCs that are $200.
$900. Yeah, I mean, it just depends
it's
on
as expensive as you want it to be.
Exactly. So
yes, exactly.
Mike, can you toss it to me so I can legally say it?
Yeah, go take it in time. Okay. Yeah. We're not.
You
this is a round
table.
Legally,
we have to.
This isn't.
But legally, you have to toss it to me so I can speak. But no, Dan hits it on the nose. Is you choose your level of involvement, because in reality, like I agree 100% with Mike and Dan on everything, but also, you know, the Nate kind of came in with like it's an expensive hobby. Maybe it's not for everyone. Maybe I'm just very blunt. Like, no, it is for everyone. If somebody wants to just do hand tool joinery with $150 of restored, flea market tools, yeah, you can do it, and you can do great stuff with it. If you want to just work with basic tools, shoot, I started with a DeWalt contractor saw and a Ryobi miter saw, true blue old school Ryobi miter saw and Ryobi tools. That's what I started with. Now I have a bunch of Laguna tools and fancy things, but I keep my shop money. I don't pull from my own personal money, which means my shop has just slowly grown and I've made some money with projects, but I've also just had fun. My thing is, it's not a main business for me. It's a hobby. I've just been very fortunate to a point where I can afford these tools now. And you can too, but you got to start somewhere. You don't have to go and we've all seen those guys that like just got into it, have like a DeWalt contractor saw, and then they have a $3,000 joiner. It's like, what? Or something else. Like they're seeing the tool, they have the money, but at the same time, it's your money. If it makes you happy, who cares?
Yeah, who cares what someone buys? I literally,
it's like that's the thing. If it makes you happy,
right
if you
now,
just want to have a fully outfit shop that you can go into once a week for an hour and makes you happy, hey, more power to you. But you don't need a lot of money to get started.
I was just talking to someone who does YouTube, and I was telling him I was getting a bunch of crap because I have a CNC, and he does a lot. This guy does like almost exclusively hand tool stuff, and he's like, yeah, it's so funny. I'll do my projects, and he'll get people saying, why don't you just use a router? So it's just like, it doesn't matter. Like, people are never going to be happy. So it's like, why even try to explain yourself? So it's like the internet is just full of people with opinions, but you know what the bottom line is? It doesn't affect you. So shut up. Like,
cost
really,
of
like if
entry
someone
is
else
low,
has stuff,
cap is infinite.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, what people have doesn't affect you at all. Like, it just doesn't. And the only way you let it affect you is if you're jealous. That's the bottom line.
Don't.
So and just don't, like, it doesn't affect you. Like, in what everyone else has and doesn't have, it just doesn't affect you. So what you need to do is you need to look at everything you do and find out how you can maximize your joy out of it. And you need to go, okay, this hobby, okay, how much money how much money can I responsibly spend on this thing? And then you find out what that is. You make that work for the thing you want to do, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be woodworking. It's anything. The people who are doing it as an instructional, to give you instructions and how to do stuff, it's not on them to tell you how expensive it is. It's on you to figure out how expensive it is. That's the bottom line. But the real answer is it's extremely expensive. I think that's kind of the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
No? Yeah. I mean, it's just an expensive hobby, but like Pete said, 100%. It doesn't need to be.
I mean, we've all been into expensive hobbies. Mike, what did you do before woodworking?
Motorcycles.
I hear they're expensive.
Paid for a good amount of my tools coming in. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on what you do.
I have other hobbies that are stupid expensive.
Dan was way into cheese curds. He sold his collection.
Collectible, yeah. I used to
Pogs.
rock climb, and rock climbing's hell expensive. Like crazy expensive.
I heard other things you did.
Ballroom dancing, not that expensive.
Ballroom dancing.
Not that expensive. No.
Oh, is it pretty?
My mom was a seamstress. She made all my costumes for free. Pretty much just entry fees.
But
okay.
I've
Sponsors,
never done it, so I need you to tell me the cost of it, and I'm not going to look into it at all.
You're not going to look into it. You just want to know how to do it.
No.
Yeah. 3D printing, another black hole
yeah.
of money if you don't do it right.
Look at Dan's does photography. He's got extremely expensive camera equipment. I got into videography because I do the social media woodworking thing. I've got I've got a lot of money into my camera.
I have
to do videography for
$30,000 to $35,000 worth of camera gear. It's ridiculous, but
it's all depreciated though. Nobody rob him.
It really did. It really has depreciated. But
the other side is like, if you want to take some pictures, you just grab a cheap camera, right?
Yeah. You could just grab a camera and take pictures.
Phone.
But I wanted to pursue that as a career and make money and not work for somebody else. So I dropped money into it, and it turned into this whole thing. And if you want to make money, you got to spend money to make money.
And one last
Scales.
little tidbit:
Scales.
as if you're an influencer, first of all, if you have 10 followers, you're an influencer. Somebody's following you, they're interested. You have no obligation to share that information. You're not the person that you're not required by law to share the cost of all this, whatever. It's, hey, I do this stuff and I enjoy it. If you want to watch it, follow along or don't. Like, you have no obligation to do that. That's it.
Yep.
Good question.
End of rant.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
It was a good question.
Yeah, I feel like we all ranted.
I guess it was more of a topic. It was a good topic thing.
Well, the topic.
Yeah, topic. Well, that's the show. That was all the questions. Yeah.
We don't have anything else. Did we hear from Keith, or
No?
he's still out?
Keith. Look at Pete trying not to be super mad.
I'm not. No, I really. Do you think we really think I get mad? Because what did I just share with you? Literally my dance photo from when I was a child. Because I don't care.
I was legit shocked that you openly shared that so quickly.
You know that is going on the pod account on Monday.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just me. It's
I've
me. It's
already
who I am.
saved it.
Like, just to give clarity, the guys thought they got to me the other day, but I was just having a really rough day at work. I was just not having anything, and they think I get upset about things like that, and I'm like, I don't care.
All right, Mike, you and I, let's talk real quick without Pete here.
Yeah.
He was legit upset about the Monday post.
Oh, there it is. Wait, I got my
Where
Keith
Keith
glasses.
got
I don't know
fired.
if he was upset about the. I don't know if he was upset about the Monday post.
He was upset.
I don't know.
Here's Keith.
I was
Get him out of here.
I feel like
Anyway.
Pete wasn't upset about it. I feel like Pete was having a bad day. I was a little, when you're like, when you text me and was like, "What is he mad?"
I was just like,
I don't.
I-
Maybe we
like,
should.
I
Maybe we should
legitimately
push
was like,
back
back off a
there.
little
But
bit.
I
What
don't
the hell is
know.
this? Why are we still talking about this Keith thing? This is so stupid. I don't have time for this crap. I was just like
Yeah,
super annoyed
that's what
about the
Pete was.
world.
What's so funny is it really
Well, we
isn't
haven't
a joke
we
about
told-
Pete at all.
We told the people in the pre-show what the
Yeah.
Keith thing is about, but we haven't told our.
So if
You
you're
know,
still
like,
listening,
let's
an
just
hour and
tell the
15
show.
minutes.
I mean,
into
yeah.
this.
Go ahead, Pete. You want to say? Go ahead.
Sure. Someone was in a pre-show last week, and they asked a question via email or something.
No,
email. Yeah, they wrote in a
no,
question
it was
via email.
It was an email because we were.
No, he
responding.
wrote in chat, right? Oh,
No,
you're
he
right.
wrote
You're
an
right.
email.
Sorry,
It was an email, but he was in chat, and
Yes.
we read the question as we always do with we preview all the questions. Which, by the way, check out the pre-show. We preview all the questions, and we didn't answer it because we don't.
Because we just preview them.
we answer them in the thing, and
Right.
and the guy was like, I put up with all this
Pre-show.
ridicule
Preview.
to which we didn't mean to like offend. We just I guess he didn't know how we work usually. It was like he's like I
Yeah,
put up with all this
We just made a
ridicule.
joke.
He had a
Endured.
semi funny handle from his email.
He did use the word endure.
And
Yeah.
we all made jokes. I apparently I know for a fact I started the joke.
You were the worst.
You guys know I have a man cave, but it's for my boys, yo. That's my boy cave. My boys are
My
there.
boy. My boy.
His boys with a
Oh,
Z.
gosh. Trying to
So
keep
I
the
started the
CIA
joke,
agents down.
And the jokes just kept going.
FBI.
The person got upset because of that, and that we mocked them and never answered. And we weren't. We were just you guys know us. We just fool around. We bust each other's
He was just joking around. We were busting each other's
huevos.
chops.
Yeah,
Huevos on churros.
huevos.
No, we were
Churros.
just joking around. The guy got
Yeah.
upset. We're not going to apologize.
Someone got
'cause
upset,
It was
but
no
the
harm, no
kicker
foul.
is
It was just a joke.
He wrote an email to us, and he said, "What Keith said was unacceptable." Blah blah blah. And Keith is losing a follower. I can't believe Keith did that. And we're all
Couldn't
like,
figure out who he was
"Who's
talking about.
Keith?"
Who's Keith?
And then we're all
So
like,
we-
"Oh, I think it's Pete." And I was
We
like,
Magnum PI'd it and figured out that Keith is Pete.
we're a bunch of Hardy Boys. So
we had to fire Keith.
Keith got
Yeah,
fired.
Keith's gone.
Keith got let go.
He
It was
can't-
very, very nasty. Keith
It was
did not
very
leave a
emotional.
good.
It
No,
was heated. It was
Yeah.
heated. He threw his feces at us.
I work with
Big
Keith at
thank
work.
you to
That's why I was
Macbeth
so
for
upset.
sponsoring the show.
Yeah, but that was the story. It's just
Anyway,
it
yeah, it
came out of
was,
left field, and now Keith is a thing.
We are bummed out to hear that he got so upset.
Yeah,
We do not apologize.
Well, that's
for what we said.
unfortunate, but
he's
you know,
no longer
Yeah,
with us.
that's unfortunate. I mean, yeah, He died promptly after the show. Big thank you to Macbeth for sponsoring this episode. Thank you for sponsoring the giveaway. Big thank you to our patrons for all their support that you guys provide us. We really do appreciate it very much. And we would ask that you would share the show if you feel that you want to. And even if you don't want to share the show, and just pretend that you do, give us some thumbs up. No, how does that work? Reviews. That's right.
Yep.
Give us some reviews over on iTunes. That really apparently may or may not help us. We don't really know. No one knows. It's because we're building a mystery. Pete, why don't you make a Sarah McLachlan joke now?
In the eyes of an angel. No, I do actually want to mention something. It's something we don't talk about often, but please, if you have a YouTube channel, subscribe to our channel. We go live every single Friday. It is genuinely a blast. We have a great time. The last couple of weeks, we've had just like these crazy hijinks. Some personal stories get shared. Celebrities drop in.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe it was Hugh Jackman. Maybe it was Hugh Jackman.
Come from the pre-show. A lot of our show titles
inside jokes. All of the inside jokes and a lot of our titles.
I was laughing so hard this week.
He had to leave.
I had to leave. I was laughing so hard. I was trying.
I've never seen Dan laugh that hard. While my wife right next to me in a live video was frantically searching through a photo album. You guys remember those? Yeah, those are old. Searching for an embarrassing photo of me, and I was all about it. So
it's gonna be
definitely
shared. It's gonna be shared.
Definitely check out. Yeah, Dan's got it now. Definitely check out the pre-show. It's a lot of fun. Sub to the channel. We do fun spontaneous things in there. Sometimes we do a giveaway. Sometimes we do something else. You can get an extra entry to the giveaway, right, Dan?
Yes, you can get an extra entry to our weekly giveaway sponsored by Macbeath Hardwood.
Yeah, and this week's giveaway phrase was a secret because you weren't there. Bummer. So maybe check out next week. Definitely. And that's end of my pre-show rant.
All right.
Boom.
Thanks, Pete.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, let's ribbity wrap it up, huh?
Yeah.
No?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Love you long time.
I love you. Bye.
Kill it.